Victor Maroy, Nathan Davis. This is Chatter Up. All right, guys, welcome back to another Chatter Up. This is episode 3 of Chatter Up. My name is Victor, and I'm followed here by my man Nathan Davis. Yeah, Nate. How you doing, man?
Doing good, man. How about you?
Man, I'd be doing better if baseball was doing better, but hey, it is what it is.
Same.
It is what it is.
We're getting to that point. Hey, I don't know if you saw, but on our TikTok channel, I posted a TikTok with the crying SpongeBob Giphy from our tweet.
I know,
Bruh,
man.
that thing got 900 and something views.
Oof.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's really our mood, man, because it's insane. Yeah. It's insane. It's been going on, and then they had to get the mediator.
They declined it, so I don't know what's going to happen now. So spring training most likely is in limbo.
Guys,
but we're not here to talk
physical
about
pain. Okay, this is physical pain.
Yes,
but
physical pain.
We're gonna try our best to keep ourselves up, and we're gonna talk about some baseball, because even though we do not have any advancements with the lockout, we do have news, which is the Hall of Fame inductions. So, Nene, how about you start it off, man?
Well, there was only one guy voted this year. Two guys were snubbed from the 90s eras, but we'll get to those guys in a minute. But the guy that we're talking about is David Big Papi Ortiz, the guy who just brought the flair to the game a little bit, still brings it even when he's doing studio work now. He deserves it. I mean, he was clutching moments. He could hit some home runs, and he just had that swag. I mean, he had that swag with him. I mean, it's just crazy. I'm just glad he's in. I mean, first ballot, really impressive. In fact, you had Pedro Martinez there with him, even an already Hall of Famer there with him to celebrate. It sounded like a party at Big Papi's house, though.
Yeah, party of Papi's. Yeah, man, Big Papi, man. Congratulations. We're so proud of you. I couldn't stand you as a ball player because when I was a Yankee fan, and you wreaked havoc on the Yankees. But man, I am so happy that a Hispanic got in a full DH. Everybody was talking about, oh, he's only a DH, man. He hit 500 homers. You'll see his stats. You'll see his full slash line down here. But still, Big Papi, man, congratulations. You really deserve it. So what when you think about Big Papi, Nene, what is that one moment that you say, man, this is Big Papi right here?
There's so many to choose from. Right. For me, it would definitely be the 2004 World Series, really, because that was when he came out. That was when Big Papi arrived. Yeah. People knew about him from his days of the Twins, but when he got the 2004 World Series with the Red Sox, that's when Big Papi, the whole persona and everything, and how that really just took off.
Yeah.
So I just remember him just battling the Yankees in that championship series. I know you're sad about that, but
let's not talk about it, please.
If it wasn't for Papi, I don't think that y'all would have gone to another World Series had that been the case. Actually, your second straight that year, or second in a row, really. But Big Papi, that's just him being clutch in moments, and probably my personal favorite would be the 13 ALCS, Torrey Hunter flipping over the fence trying to rob him, just a clutch grand slam in the right moment, and
it's
that's Big Papi for you.
Man, yeah. I remember watching that game, that 2013 ALCS. I believe it was Game 6. If it's not Game 6, it'll be right here. But I remember him hitting that grand slam, and I immediately turned the TV off because I couldn't stand the fact that they were going to win. I couldn't stand that, but wow. But man, it was an amazing. And then you got the bodyguard going. That's an epic picture. That's an epic picture. Actually,
I think they made a bobblehead. Actually,
guys, you guys can see that picture up here. It's good. It was such a good moment. But when I think about Big Papi, what I think, it's like you said, he is one of the best postseason performers ever. And I know he might not have the records He might not have the most homers, the best average, the most RBIs, but when Big Papi was had to step up to the plate in a big moment in the World Series or in the postseason, you just knew that he was going to capitalize, and he
Mhm.
did, man. He did. He was one of the greatest clutch hitters in postseason histories, and the one thing that I remember from it is that 2013 World Series, not
Mhm.
just a moment in particular, but just the entire series. I was just dumbfounded because it was his last year. He was 40
Mhm.
years old. He was 40 years old. He was in his last season, and the dude hit 688 in 6 games in the World Series.
That's unreal.
And I don't know how many of you guys that are watching know how hard it is to hit 300 in 6 games.
It's
But
hard.
Big Papi hit 688. And I believe that that's because he went, I believe it was 0 for 4 in his last game or something like that. But
Yeesh.
man, it was absolutely insane just watching him destroy. He destroyed the St. Louis Cardinals in that World Series. He single-handedly won the World Series for the Boston Red Sox, and it was impressive. So when I remember Big Pop, I'm going to remember him for that and for hitting the walk-off homer in the, I believe it was 11th inning
Mhm.
of that World Series game, and it was just over after that. But yeah, so congratulations, Big Poppy. It's really
Mhm.
really good to see a worthy player getting into the Hall of Fame, regardless
Mhm.
of possible scandals such as, I don't know if you guys know this, but
Mhm.
the Bleacher Report came out with an article right after Big Poppy got into the Hall of Fame. I appreciate them for doing it. But now it's kind of like stings a little bit more because we all know who didn't get in. We
Hmm.
all know who didn't get into the Hall of Fame, and I think it's a joke that they didn't get in. But yeah, back to the article. A Bleacher Report came out with the article that states that Big Poppy actually tested positive for PEDs. Now, I'm not saying that that's enough to devalue what he did because, like we said, Big Poppy actually his fame grew and his performance was improved in 2004. Now he tested positive in 2003. Okay, so that's very
Was he still
important
with
to
the
note.
Twins then?
I believe that he wasn't. I believe he just had gotten traded or something like that
Okay.
to the Red Sox. I'll look that up. I'll definitely look it up, and it'll be somewhere in our in our video.
Yep.
but but it was 2003, right? So which brings up the question. So if they knew, if these writers who are the ones that vote in the players, if they knew that Big Poppy was in fact had in fact tested positive for PEDs, why then are the two biggest names in recent baseball history, Barry Bonds and
Mhm.
Roger Clemens, not
Eee.
in? What do you think
Eee.
that is, Nene?
Steroids because they played in that era. Barry Bonds. If you take a look at his timely manner of when he played from the Pirates to the Giants and the way his body looked, could be a huge question mark.
Yeah.
Roger Clemens, I don't get why they're putting Roger Clemens in this argument about having steroids.
He never tested
I
positive.
still think he never tested positive. He pitched, I think he has the most Cy Youngs of all time. And it's
We got
like,
7 Cy Youngs.
okay, why is the most Cy Youngs and the all-time home run hit king are both snubbed? Okay, that doesn't seem right. I mean, Cy Young wise, in that era, the fact that he won those Cy Youngs in the steroid era is impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, astronomical. I mean, the fact that dude was still going out there. I think if you take a look at it, the two best pitchers in that era, steroid era, which is like early 90s to 2003, 4, or whatever,
Late 90s mostly, but yeah.
Roger Clemens and Greg Maddux. Because Greg Maddux dominated those guys no matter
Mhm.
what. Greg Maddux brought it in,
Wow.
day out. And it's just Greg Maddux knew exactly where to put the ball on those guys, no matter if they were taking steroids or not.
Hmm.
Roger Clemens they called his fastball the stinky cheddar because it was coming in hot.
Cheddar.
And it's just hot.
Yeah.
And Barry Bonds, I mean, granted, he broke the home run hit record, the regular season home run record, and the all-time home run record. And I think the thing is about the whole the single season one is it was claimed by a guy, Mark McGuire, who came out and said he took steroids during that time. So to me, it's like, how do we judge this? How do we get these guys who have yet to either be tested positive, shown they were tested positive, or come out and say that they took it? How do we go moving forward, putting these guys in the Hall of Fame? Because my favorite player growing up, and he's in that era too, and that's Sammy Sosa. Mm-hmm. Sammy Sosa was that guy who would bring the flair to the field. And a lot of people are like, why everybody wants to put him in the steroid era? Yeah, I mean, he had 3 straight seasons. Now listen to this, Vic. You ready for this? Mm-hmm. Sammy Sosa had 3 straight seasons of 60+ home runs.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever done that in the game, ever. So we see, but Barry Bonds should be in there because he's the all-time home run hit king. And I also think it's the same thing because Pete Rose is also banned too, and he's the all-time hit king. So it's got to come to a point where these guys need to be put in the Hall of Fame, not just because of steroids or betting in Rose's case, but putting them in the Hall of Fame because of the records they hold.
Yeah, I think that it's a shame as an absolution. You okay, man? You got the COVID?
Yeah, dude. I'm just no, I don't have the COVID.
No, but I think it's a huge loss for baseball. And it just makes this lockout that much worse because lockout it's itself, it's just bad. But the fact that they got it wrong, I'm sorry. I understand that a lot of people would throw shade at me for saying this, but the fact that Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens are not in the Hall of Fame really says a lot about how baseball is underdeveloping in people's minds. But you cannot write the history of baseball without Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens.
No.
Regardless of their steroid use. And I understand that I understand what they did. I know that a lot of people are like, but they cheated. Cheating would require doing something that is illegal. At the time that they did it, it was not
everybody
illegal.
Was doing it.
It was not illegal.
Yeah, it was not illegal, and everybody was doing it.
It became illegal in 2003 when they first tested. I believe that's because Jose Canseco was the one.
Yeah.
I believe he released a book or something that said,
"Yeah, it was him.
I'm taking such and such and such, which are actually illegal substances later on." But the fact that Jose can say that, the fact that Barry Bonds is not in the Hall of Fame really, really, really hurts me. Okay. Barry Bonds is the all-time MVP leader in the MLB. Okay. Yeah. Barry Bonds is the all-time home run hitter in the MLB, regular and career. He's the all-time walks leader in the MLB. He had 1 year where I believe he had total of 300 at bats because he got walked so many times, and he still hit 350.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's insane and how here's the other great thing too. He was.
It's crazy with Barry Bonds. Going back to it, Eduardo Perez of ESPN, who's now going to be calling Sunday Night Baseball coming up this season. He was a teammate of Barry Bonds, certain points, and he just says, he goes, you know what? I don't really care if you want to put him in that steroid conversation. I remember him saying this in the past, but he goes, Barry Bonds had the fastest hands I've ever seen with his swing. Nobody has those kind of hands. He goes, his swing, he goes, if Barry Bonds played in the stat era with like the live stats era, he goes, dude, he nobody would touch him because his swing speed was so fast. just imagine. I wonder what his exit velo would be on a home run, like especially that one that he hit, the two that he hit, the one he hit in the Angels in the World Series in 02, and the one he did against the Yankees in the interleague play in like 01-02. Like those two were just like monster home runs.
Yeah. And Barry Bonds was just another type of animal. He was just an amazing baseball player. But Roger Clemens, people forget Roger Clemens has the most strikeouts in a single game of baseball history. 20 strikeouts.
Tied.
It has actually
tied because
it's only been tied by Kerry Woods and Max Scherzer, but there's a difference.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
There's a difference. Roger Clemens did it twice.
Oh, I forgot about that. He
did it twice. Okay. So it's absolutely insane that he is the all-time Cy Young leader in amount of Cy Youngs, right? He is, I believe he's third in all-time strikeouts. I believe it's Nolan Ryan, Randy Johnson, or Roger Clemens. Roger Clemens might be second. I forgot.
Yeah.
But it'll be right up here, guys. But Roger Clemens, he had over 300 wins. He had over 4,000 strikeouts. I believe he had 4,700 strikeouts. He had seven Cy Youngs. He had 2 games of 20 strikeouts. He set the record. Like, so when you mention the standard of greatness, you have to acknowledge the fact that Roger Clemens pitched in probably the hardest era of entire baseball, which was steroid era.
He did.
So I don't care what anybody says. You can write all the hate comments you want. You will not change my mind that Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
Okay. Hey, you want to hear a funny Barry Bonds story?
What's up?
Did you know that he was almost traded to the Atlanta Braves in the 90s from the Pirates?
That sounds like a sad story to you, my friend.
I know, because the general manager, John Stierholtz of the Atlanta Braves, and Pirates GM had an agreement in place, but the manager goes, I have to go ask Jim Leyland. The GM of the Pirates walked in the office, told Jim Leyland, and Jim Leyland, I think, was breaking things in the office and said, you can't let him go.
And it was I love Jim Leyland.
Jim Leyland fought to keep Barry Bonds on the Pirates back in the 90s. That's a crazy. All right. So, I mean, like the steroid era, like there's so many names out there. Of course, the most famous one is Rafael Palmeiro in the front of the U.S. Senate committee or House committee, whatever that was, saying that I had never taken steroids, and then come to find out he did.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And then Chris Davis, but Chris Davis's wasn't even PED. It was for something else. It's just
Adderall. He took Adderall because he has ADHD.
And it's like, why are you giving a man suspensions for something that he actually needs?
Yeah.
So, but
yeah, I believe. But
going back to Big Pop, yeah, go ahead.
I think that the steroid era was, and I know a lot of people will say this as well. The steroid era was the best era of baseball.
Yes, it was 100%.
The steroid era saved baseball.
It did. 94 strike, and then Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa's 98 season of trying to break the single season of Roger Maris.
Yeah, because you said in the not previous, I believe episode 1, that your uncle is no longer a baseball fan because of that 94 strike. To this day. Right. So now in 98, in comes Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire, who broke Roger Maris's home run record.
Yep.
Right, 61 home runs, and now Mark McGwire came in and hit 70. Sammy Sosa, I think he hit 66 or something like that. And then Barry Bonds comes in 2002, I want to say 2001 or 2003, one of those 3 years.
I think it was one of those 3, yeah.
And he hit 73. Right. So, of course, they had performance enhancing drugs. No other baseball player had ever done that. Not even with steroids or without steroids. Okay. So it's impressive. So I know that people hate the steroid era, but I just really don't see how baseball could have gotten any better
without it. Here's my going back to our original person we were talking about, Mr. Big Papi, who is now a Hall of Famer. Vic, what is your favorite Big Papi story? Like just like funny, hilarious story that he may have done as a player. Um, just something quick. I mean, just something fun.
Man, I think that one of the funniest Big Papi stories, actually, I think it came out after he retired, which was when the Red Sox won the World Series. The way he celebrates, I think just the way he celebrates, period.
He did
He did that. What he did with celebrating with against, I believe, Alex Rodriguez, and they bet that the Red Sox would win or whatever. It was just hilarious because Big Papi was just a hilarious guy. And
yeah,
but I know you have one. You have one that everybody remembers.
I have just the fact of my personal favorite is what year was it? 2011, 2012, 2013, something like that.
2013.
They're playing the Orioles in Camden Yards, and he is about to get tossed because he's mad about a strike 3 call. Well, before he does that, he decides to absolutely destroy the bullpen phone or dugout phone that goes to the bullpen, destroys it. And then in his last season, as he's retiring, the Orioles gave him that as a present, which was kind of hilarious.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was hilarious. Okay. And then my other favorite was probably him and Dustin Pedroia, where he somehow didn't know Dustin Pedroia's name for like 8-9 seasons or something like that. But
I call cap on that. I call cap on that one too, because it's just like, yeah, Papi, you can't. So, and then have you ever heard of the one that he did with Frank Thomas? Since he's been in the studio where he switched Thomas's water out for vodka. Oh yeah.
Oh dude, it was
Frank Thomas's face. Frank Thomas's face just absolutely changed everything.
Yep. So
yeah, man.
Well, guys, I gotta admit, the Steroid Era, greatest era of baseball. I got to grow up watching it. My favorite players from that era, and if he gets a Hall of Fame, it'll be awesome. But that being said, Vic, I think this has just been a fantastic show because this shows our passion in the game, and one of the best players now, Hall of Famer, and Big Papi.
Absolutely. So congratulations to Big Papi. It's sad to see that Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens didn't get into the Hall of Fame. But hey, sometimes you gotta face the facts. You gotta face your consequences. So yeah, guys, this has been episode 3 of Chatter Up. It's been a pleasure as always. Victor Monroy,
thank you guys.
Davis, Chatter Up. We'll see you guys in the next one.